Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel, Mindful Reality, the channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective. So, yesterday I was not able to recap the episode, the first eviction night episode. Y'all know my favorite thing on Big Brother is eviction night. I know some people feel sad. I feel sad sometimes, but usually towards the end of the season, once I'm really invested in somebody that I want to win. But the early season evictions are like, eh. But this one was a little sad for certain reasons that I'm going to give. So we just get a whole recap of everything that's been going on. Angela, to me, has this very strange feeling about Matt. Matt. Her and Tucker. The thing with getting Matt out of the house, when I looked at Matt on the cast list, I didn't even have to hear him speak. I didn't have to see him do anything. I didn't have to see him interact with any of the other house guests. This is the first person I thought of, right? Brent Champagne from Big Brother 23, who I've met a couple of times. That's the first person that I thought of. And then I thought of like Christian from same season, actually, Big Brother 23. I'm just, my point that I'm making is I looked at him and I was like, Matt is that stereotypical prototype that Big Brother will always cast and has the odds stacked against them of winning because people are always like, let's get out all the jocks. So instantly, I looked at him and I was like, I think I even said this in the preview. I'm gonna have to go back to this preview predictions video that we did the panel for because I'm pretty sure that's what I said. Like they're gonna look at Matt as a threat right away and they're gonna try to get Matt out. So the point of me saying all of that is that you didn't need to add additional reasons, especially additional kind of outside of game reasons to get him out. All you had to say is he's athletic, he's influential, he's a big threat. If you look what they said in their diary room entries, it didn't seem like it was hard to convince them. Even though the previous episode, you saw a lot of them say that Angela's rant was wrong. And you saw that on the feeds if you watch the feeds, that a lot of them said that their rant was wrong. They were also kind of like, but I'm also not mad at Matt going up. I would have had more respect for Angela, honestly, just saying, you're a big threat in the game. We want to get out an athletic person and somebody that I think can sway people in the house. Like, I'd rather it be that than you walk into the house and be like, oh, I don't like this guy and the way he is, he's arrogant, and then to make up that whole thing. Uh, well, I'm gonna get to that. I'm skipping ahead. We have our first AI arena, which is the three people on the block, and now one person gets a chance to get off the block, which it's kind of interesting because I'm feeling like a lot of these shows are copying each other in a sense. Like, what was that show? House of Villains. House of Villains is kind of copying Big Brother, but Big Brother also is kind of taking that from House of Villains. If I remember correctly, there were three nominees, and one of them had a chance to compete to get off the block. So that's not a completely new idea, but then again, House of Villains is not as popular as Big Brother, so I guess who cares? So we have the AI arena, and quite honestly, the least interesting thing to happen would be for Chemo to get himself off. Like from a viewer standpoint. From a viewer standpoint, the least interesting thing would be to have Chemo come off. And the most interesting thing would be to have Matt come off. let me think. Chemo, if Chemo went against Kenny, I think that Chemo was safe either way. I think Chemo was definitely safe against Matt. And I think that he'd probably get less votes to stay against Kenny, but I still think that he would have more people voting for him to stay than leave. So to me, it was like the least interesting scenario was for Chemo to win that. Yeah. So, anyways, we go into that competition, and guess who wins? Chemo. Chemo was already the pawn, and Chemo was the one that I had seen a lot of people promise that he was going to be safe, and I believe that he was going to be safe. This was wild. When Julie announced that Chemo had won, the way they reacted was like this was finale night. They reacted like this was finale night. 1 second. Sorry about that. They reacted like how people react when Julie announces the winner on finale night. And I'm like, there's still two people here who are fighting for their lives in the game, and y'all are extremely hyped and extremely excited. I mean, I knew Angela would be like that. I knew Tucker would be like that, but it seemed like basically everybody was on the extreme side of excitement, joy. Yes, Chemo. Yeah, yeah. Like it was the reaction was huge. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know if the live feeds cut out a lot of stuff, but I just don't see that much of a reason to hate Matt. He seems like an actual nice guy. He actually seems like a nice guy. So yeah, now we have father and son. Kenny, like, this has been like a son to me, and they're sitting next to each other. It was kind of weird. Like, I think they're getting used to how they're doing this new format, so I think it'll be a little more together next week. But it was a little weird the way it happened when she said, y'all have 60 seconds to talk to your house guests. And I thought it was like the speech, but she was just meaning you have 60 seconds right this second to talk to your house guests, and then you're going to speak to the audience later. So they made their speeches. The speeches were interesting. Kenny basically shouted out his wife and his kids. He named all of them. And, he complimented his wife and said she's done so much for him in life. She's basically been his person in life. She's the most important person in his life, he said. And then Matt got into his speech. And when Matt did his speech, that was interesting as well, because he decided to keep emphasizing his mom and dad. And he decided to say that he's a person of character. He's basically been mischaracterized in the house. He was like, he wanted peace. He was hoping for peace, and that peace was robbed from them this week, basically by Angela, even though he didn't say that. He said, despite of everything, he would hang out and likes everybody in the house and would want to see everyone outside of the house. And then he looked over at Angela and said, I forgive you. He said 70 times 7, like it says in the Bible. And he's like, I forgive you, even if you didn't ask for that. She was sitting there. You could see her steaming during this speech. So the people who voted for him to stay, it was an 8-3 vote. So I'm glad it wasn't a unanimous vote. For a little bit, I was like, maybe they will vote Kenny out, but only 3 people did that. I think that was Mackenzie, Leah, and Lisa. So I guess Lisa and Leah are locked in. I guess Lisa, Leah, possibly Mackenzie are locked in, because it showed Leah and Mackenzie at the time being like, at the end being like, we're going to take down Angela. They showed that little clip at the end. So when Matt had his speech at the end of the show with Julie, when Matt had his conversation with Julie at the end of the show, Julie quoted his words and said, "This is what you said, I'm coming for you if you put me on the block, yada yada." And he was just like, "Yeah, but I don't really feel like I aggressively threatened her. To me, that was just gaming." And that's my feeling about it. I come from a background of playing sports. I played basketball, I played football, baseball, like anything, soccer, anything you can think of, I played it. And there was things that we did between the lines and said, right, that we play the game, the clock starts, and this is what is said and done within the game to win the game. And then when the clock runs out, the game is over and we're back to life. Like, there's been people that I've had heated conversations with on a basketball court, got off the basketball court, and we were cool. There wasn't even a slight problem. But this is the part of it that I just have not liked. And people have tried to convince me otherwise online, because there's not really anyone I talk to about this offline. But people have been trying to say that his tone, his body language, you can't determine what is a threat to somebody, or to say that, yes, it is a threat. If you do this, this is going to happen. Yeah, it's a threat by some technical dictionary.com Britannica definition of a threat. But we all know that that's not what she was saying when she said that's a threat. Like, she was making it seem like, as a woman and as a person who is older than him, he physically made her feel intimidated. That's the way that she was framing it. And that's the reason why I think that she was wrong. And people are using that to justify, good morning, Tasha. People are using that to justify the way that she treated him. And to be honest, I actually loved his response in the initial moment when she was berating him and calling him crazy eyes, and she was doing all this, doing the most. And she was basically like, I'm a mom and I'm old enough to be your mom, and you're talking to somebody like this. And I loved the fact that he actually said, and my mom has to watch you talk to me like this, because it brought back some reality to this. Like, you're in this game. You're not an innocent lamb coming into this game where people should be like, oh, based on your age, or based on this, or based on that, based on your gender, I'm going to play this game light on you. Like, if you come to me and say, hey, I'm going to put you on the block, or my plan is to put you on the block, I want to put you on the block, you can respond any kind of a way. You could say, you could campaign. You could be like, no, I want to work with you. I promise you your safety through the game. That's a strategy. You could be like a neutral person where they're like, I'm not going to campaign for you not to put my name up. I hope that you don't, but I'm fine with whatever decision that you happen to make. And if you make that decision, like, you could go the political route is what I'm saying. That's one of the routes. Or you could say, if you put me on the block, I'm going to come for you next week. That wouldn't be my particular strategy, but it's not an outside of game, outside of pocket thing where I wouldn't talk to somebody outside of the house, or it wouldn't even be something that I would apologize for, to tell you the truth. Like, if I went on my interview tour after the show and they said, you have to apologize for saying that to Angela, I would be like, for what? I'd be like, for what? I was playing the game. That was my strategy to keep myself off the block. It's not like he chased her around the house. It's not like we've seen people do things that are threatening. We've seen people have threatening behavior. If y'all can remember, I mean, he's one of the most unforgettable, maybe week 2 or week 3 evictions. Frenchie. Remember when Frenchie was in the house and Frenchie was going to go home? I remember him like walking around room to room, listening to everybody's conversations and making making actual threatening statements. It was just like, what was one of them? Oh, he was like, there's snakes in the grass and we're going to weed out the snakes. Like he would just walk in the room and say weird things to scare people. Matt doesn't do that, or I didn't see Matt do that. I mean, people say he overtalks or whatever, talks over people, whatever. I mean, that's just his personality. So I didn't think that Matt was going to go far in the game regardless. Like if Matt did not have Angela on him, and if Matt did not have Tucker on him, and if Matt did not have all these people on him, I still don't think he would go far in the game, because you can look at the people that are in a Big Brother cast and see the stereotypical player that they pick, and he was the stereotypical jock, so they were just going to get him out of the game just off of the strength of that. But I don't like the way that he was actually treated in the house. I also don't like when somebody gets basically bullied and nobody stands up for them, because we saw all those diary room entries where they're like, oh, she didn't treat him right, but Matt's got to go. She didn't treat him right, but Matt's got to go. I mean, I guess there's a power dynamic within a house. Yeah, that's basically exactly what I'm saying. It was not a good game move. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that, especially first week, but it was a game move. It was not like a personal threatening thing. I don't even think her family would look at that and be like, oh my goodness, that was a threat. I think that she grossly misread that if she was genuinely feeling that way. But I also question, hi Andrew, I also question whether she genuinely felt that way. I really do. Because if you look at it, she had the conversation, she didn't like what he said. And I think that it's as simple as that. I'm not in her head, but just looking and observing, which I'm extremely good at, she just did not like what he said, and she had a right not to like what he said, because I probably, in that same conversation, would not like that response either, because I'm like, I'm HOH. At this point in time, I hold all this power. So I want you to actually plead with me or bargain with me and give me a reason not to put you on the block, rather than to tell me, yeah, a game threat. Like, you put me on the block, I'm going to get off and I'm going to come for you. And that was arrogance on his part. Yes, it was definitely arrogance on his part to think that early in the game that he had that much pull and that much resources in week 1. You should never feel that confident at that point in time. So he played that wrong. But yeah, he was but with the Angela thing, if you look at the things that Angela was saying even before they had that conversation in that HOH room, if you see the collection of things that she was saying about Matt, oh, I'm so good looking, oh, I'm athletic, I'm this and I'm that. Like, she was already just not liking him from the jump just because of how he looked, and feeling that he was threatening because of his looks. So she was like, when she had that conversation with him, she was like, this is a slam dunk. This is the thing that I needed to turn the house against him. So when she came down the stairs and she was giving that big speech, he said this, he threatened me aggressively and this and that. You saw her the night before in her bed thinking about what she was going to say to him. And she said it afterwards. She said it afterwards. She was like, I was thinking and planning on what I was going to say to him in front of the house. So I think a part of what she did was also not genuine, and it was game strategy, and that's what makes it wrong. You can agree, you could disagree with me, but that's how I feel. Everything that I've seen on the produced show and the feeds before and since, I still think the same thing that I thought originally. I do. And, maybe I'm more sensitive to that particular thing. But the thing is, when you're in a Big Brother house, I think that a lot of people just view Big Brother or whatever show as entertainment. I think Big Brother, more than other shows, it can be hard to shed a reputation. So that's why if I was in a Big Brother house, I would be very careful about things that I'm pinning on people. I mean, no, it's not like as deep as somebody calling someone a racist or somebody calling somebody a misogynist or a sexist, which happens every year, which has happened every year since I've been covering Big Brother anyways. But she was painting this picture that he threatened an older woman aggressively. And I just don't like that. I just don't like that. And Angela also met Matt one-on-one after the nominations, and she didn't bring up the aggressive, threatening talk. I really think that she spun it. I really think that, yes, she didn't like what he said, but I think that she spun it, because if I'm listening to what she said in front of the house and I was not a part of that conversation, it would seem like he got into that HOH room and she was uncomfortable to sleep at night due to him aggressively threatening her. He threatened her aggressively within the frame of the game. He gave her, it was like aggressive gameplay. There's a difference between aggressive gameplay versus like aggressively intimidating a woman, which is basically what she was claiming in front of everybody. It was to me, and if Matt had come down the stairs and all that stuff, personal attack, whatever he said, if there's some kind of feature of hers that he was attacking and he was yelling at her, Matt would be canceled. Nobody would talk to Matt after the show. So I'm interested to see like what kind of reaction that Angela is going to get when she's out of the show. Now, speaking of out of the show, she had that HOH power and she power tripped with it. She didn't just put her picks on the block and then try to make sure that her picks went home. She did a lot. Like her stock dropped because now she has enemies. They showed right at the end of the episode that Mackenzie and Leah were like, justice for Matt. Now, I don't necessarily know where Leah's loyalty lies, but I do know that she actually did vote for Kenny to go home. So I don't know, Mackenzie, Leah, Lisa. I don't know if Leah and Lisa will necessarily be against Angela. But the thing is, now Angela is going to be viewed as a bigger threat. I mean, I know she won an HOH, but Mama Fee won an HOH. last season, and they still didn't think, oh, Mama Fee is a huge threat. But the way that Angela handled this HOH, oh, I forgot about Kenny. Kenny's going to want to have her out of the house too. So that's already potentially like 4 people. So I feel like she did something that most of the house wanted. They're like, great, I don't have to take out Matt because I have this this angry woman that's angry for whatever reason, who knows. I have her to take him out, and then from there, we can get her out. I don't know if it would be next week or anything, but I think that people would not want her on a jury after what we've seen this week, because she would be the bitterest of bitter juries. And I think that I don't even think anyone would want to put her on the block straight up, because they don't want to, like, it's all fun and games when it's not you that's being berated like that. But nobody wants to have that experience. I think that they would want to backdoor her. I know I would want to backdoor her. I wouldn't want to put her on the block and then have to listen to her for however long that is. What, they make their selections Friday, I think. Friday. So at least like Friday through veto Monday. Hi, Lisa. So this week's HOH winner has already been determined. If you don't like spoilers, you have a chance to turn this off. But our HOH winner for this week, surprisingly, well, I don't know if I should say surprisingly, but I will say Chelsea, which is interesting, because I honestly don't know who Chelsea would put up. She's had a lot of talks with a lot of people, and I've seen her speaking with Cam. I've seen her speaking with Cedric. I've seen her speaking with a lot of different people. So I'm not really sure. Maybe when I see more feed stuff, she's probably said somewhere who she's leaning towards. I just don't have that yet, honestly. But they felt the same way about Karen. Yeah, Karen on Big Brother. They're already talking about getting Cam out. This is kind of wild. This is kind of wild to me, because I don't know. Is it because of last season, or I'm wondering to myself, because Cam hasn't really done anything that I've seen that makes him a huge threat, but another like athletic jock, maybe they're just trying to get out all the people that could win physical competitions. I mean, that's an interesting play. But it's an interesting play. However, if you think back to last season, let's say when they got out Heisem, they were like, oh, let's get out Heisem because there's no way that we'd be able to beat him in the end. But then it became something where it was like, then the people that were remaining from that alliance were not winning any competitions. So then it's a chess game. Big Brother is a chess game. It's not for me. I feel like the people in these last couple of seasons have just been extremely short-sighted. I always go back to these examples, or like this example, Big Brother 23, which was the first season that I had watched of Big Brother. Xavier needed Kyland. I mean, Kyland would use that argument to say he was the better Big Brother player. I don't think he was the better Big Brother player. I think that, oh yeah, he wanted to play the game. He wanted to be in there. He wanted to take people out. And Xavier was like, cool, take people out for me. I feel like you have to attach yourself to a strong player for a time, and then have a contingency plan of when you're gonna cut the cord. Like, I'm gonna use this person up until final 8, final 7, final 5. Like, that was always Xavier's plan with Tiffany and Kylan. He had a plan for both. Like, I want both of you to be in this final 6 with me, but once we're at 6, Tiffany, you're 6. If I can make that happen, I'm gonna make that happen with you at number 6. Kylan, I'm gonna keep you around till number 3, and hopefully win, and then get a chance to take you out before final 2. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they should have gotten out Matt first. I mean, I understand them wanting to get out Matt, but I don't think that there was a big necessity to get him out first, honestly. She was already spiraling before her HOH. Chelsea said Lisa, MJ, and Kenny. Oh yeah, they make 3 choices. I forgot about that. Lisa, MJ. So okay, Lisa, MJ, and Kenny. So I guess that shows that, I mean, Kenny I'm not too surprised about, but I guess that shows that Lisa, MJ, and Leah probably are kind of on the outside of what everyone has going on so far. I can understand that. Lisa has been doing a lot. I can understand that. Chemo winning safety was good from him. I mean, good for him for winning the safety. I still don't think he needed it against either of them. Like, it's good for him in terms of self-confidence. It was good for him that he did it, like, good job. But I don't think that he would have been the one going home against either Matt or Kenny, truthfully. I heard Chelsea talk before the HOH comp saying they need to win, and Lisa and MJ and someone. Oh, I see. So they already had that in the works. That's not that surprising. Yeah, it is what Tasha said, but I didn't know that she had spoken about that before the HOH. All right, y'all. Those are my thoughts for the episode. We're gonna see what happens. I think they do the noms today, if I'm not mistaken. They do them on Friday. Are we Friday? Yeah. I can't keep track of the days of the week anymore. For those who are challenge fans, though, I was gonna make a separate video, which I still might at some point, but I finally got to meet challenge legend Cara Maria. Meeting Cara Maria was awesome. It wasn't a challenge event. So what happened was I saw that she was doing a fibroids speaking event. So there was like 4 or 5 different women speaking about fibroids. And I was like, what am I going to do at a fibroids event? But it was here in New York City. So I thought about it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I actually attended this event from USA Fibroid Centers. I mean, I could put the information out there. It was interesting stuff. I mean, as a man, obviously, I can't get fibroids, but I know people who have, and it was interesting to listen to. So after the event, before I went to the event, I always try to think of unique things to do when I see these people, because I know that a lot of people just go up to them and say, hey, I'm a fan. Sometimes I do that too, depending on who it is. Like when I go to these Big Brother Survivor events, unless it's somebody who really resonated with me for some reason, yeah, I just go talk to them and take pictures or whatever I do there. But I was like, there's 3 people in challenge history that I would just love to meet. And I've met 2 of them now, which is CT and Kara. The only other one is Wes. Those were like the top 3 people on the show that I would ever have liked to meet. Meeting CT was awesome, as I've told y'all, but meeting Kara was awesome as well. Maybe, probably even more so. Definitely even more so, because honestly, the talk that I had with CT about my dad was just incredible, and I'll be grateful for that forever. And that's like a life memory forever. But the experience of meeting CT was a zoo. It was an absolute zoo meeting CT. My close friend was in a surgery yesterday to remove a fibroid that mysteriously fell from her ovary and planted itself in her uterus. Oh boy. I hope your friend heals well. I don't know if you have seen anything about Kara's fibroid story, actually, as a matter of fact. But yeah, she was talking about how she went, and I think that she had hers was like her stomach was protruding, and she described other things. Like, I mean, not to really make this about fibroids, only because, not because I don't want to make it about fibroids, but I'm not that educated on it beyond what I've seen in her videos and like what I heard them say on the panel. But yeah, basically she did the embolism, and she said that it has shrunk like 80 something percent from what it was before. And she was talking about how she would recommend all the ladies do that first as a first option, especially to avoid having to have a hysterectomy. But anyways, off of that just a little bit, as I was saying, I try to think of unique things to do when I see these people. And with her, I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to create, or I didn't say I want to create, I want to find somebody on Etsy or something that makes stars, that can make like craft stars that mimic the stars that they had on the Challenge All Stars 4. And I wanted to get 3 stars specifically to represent the 3 extra stars, the 3 extra stars that Laurel got. Hold on, I posted the video, but I'm gonna pull the video up if I can. No, that's not it. Well, the video is up on my page. Oh. Actually, she put the stars on her Instagram page. These are the actual stars that I gave her. And she took them out of the bag and she was like, oh my God, no, you didn't. And she counted them out. She was like, 1, 2, 3 stars. She got such a big kick out of that. It was pretty cool. And of course, I reposted it immediately. And this was some picture that somebody else took of her reaction to getting the stars. And she reposted that. This is in her story right now. I'm going to enjoy my 24 hours of fame. But yeah, that's what I did. I brought her the stars and I was like, I'm giving you these 3 stars and if you had these 3 stars, you would have beat Laurel. Oh, I had one more picture, actually. I had one more picture that she actually inboxed me and sent me. Where are we? If you can see that. Me, Cara, and Polly holding each of us holding a star. That was pretty cool. Yeah, and she was extremely nice. She was like very down to earth. I could see what they say, like quirky, like that's just her personality. She was not the person who is all over the room, just walking around and socializing with everybody. And I've always felt like that kind of resonated with me. Oh, one thing though, I think I had this on my video somewhere that I will post eventually. But when I was speaking to her, I'm trying to get that interview. I'm trying to get that interview. Polly actually inboxed me also this morning, but I think that that can happen. We'll see. We'll see. I don't promise anything anymore. I think that it's a possibility, but yeah, who knows? Who knows whether that's going to happen or not? But I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I guess I was saying, I mean, I don't know if this is what I was saying at that point, but she has always resonated with me just because that's the type of person that I am, where in certain settings I look social, but that's just not really my natural personality. I had it and I lost it again. Shoot. I lost it again. There was something specific I was thinking about and I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. Now I remember. So I told her, I was like, I've been a fan of yours since the very first season, even when they were bullying you and um, everyone was saying you don't belong there, when you got the soda poured on your head or whatever. I've been a fan of you since then. And I was like, it's amazing to see the growth that you had, where instead of crying in the corner, um, instead of crying in the corner, you were actually fighting back, standing up for yourself in a season where it seemed like just a lot of people were just against you for being you and for being strong. And then she goes, "Oh, but y'all didn't see that." She said, "I definitely did some crying in the All Stars 4 house." She was like, I'm still crying Maria." She said, "Yes, I did. I did stand up for myself in some instances, and obviously it was shown parts where I did not back down from people who were coming at me, but she was like, there were definitely times when I was crying by myself, crying in people's arms. I assume like Ace and I don't know, Jay, like those people that she was cool with in the house, possibly Ryan, I don't know, but yeah, um, that was what happened with that. And honestly, I was just so excited to meet her. I meet a lot of these people now to the point where I want to say, with peace and love, I'm a little desensitized at times. I was telling Amira this from BB24, who's been in contact with me, fairly, I won't say all the time, but somewhat of a occasional basis. But I was telling her when I saw her at the last event, I was like, there's a lot of these people that I meet that are like, you're meeting Big Brother season, whatever, season 25, this person, but when you talk to them, they talk to you like they're Oprah, or they talk to you like they're Bill Gates or Michael Jordan or something. And I'm like, I don't really view you like that. To be honest, like I could see you today and I could never see you again, and it wouldn't really make a difference. And I'm not saying that to offend anybody, but I'm just saying, like, maybe some people come to these things and look at these people like, oh, you can act however, but I'm just so happy that I'm in your presence. I'm just typically not that type of person. But CT, Kara, there's certain people that I've met. Lauren Hill, when I met her, there's like a few people that I've met that I'm like, this person is, it's so, I'm starstruck, for lack of a better term. Like, this person is really standing in front of me and they're nice. Like, there's nothing better than when you meet somebody, when you think that somebody is a certain way, and you're a big fan, and then when you actually get to meet them and speak to them, it matches up. The maths. You know, Mimi was actually that person too. And unfortunately, who knows? It doesn't look like I'm getting that interview or anything, but at least in terms of just communicating with her and interacting with her, she was very nice. She was just a very engaging person that talked to everybody in the room. But yeah, it was a great night. And I know that was off of Big Brother, but you know, that was the reason why I didn't get to see um, Eviction Night live, because I was over there. So what happened was they had the panel. The panel was like an hour to an hour and a half. Then after the panel, I paid for the VIP ticket, which wasn't much. It was a lot that you get for like $50. So the VIP ticket got you into this back room at the Marriott where they have like a dinner, and then they had like a DJ, they had dancing. It was just a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like Polly. By the way, we are actually less than a month away from the new season of the challenge, which both Kara and Polly are going to be on. Interestingly enough, I feel like, I don't know if it's breaking news because everybody has said that they're broken up. I don't know whether they're broken up or not. It's not like I asked, but as you can see, they were both there. And tomorrow they're leaving, or today they're leaving to go to San Diego together for the Zach Nichols podcast. So, and they seem pretty friendly. Good morning, Edward. I don't usually do these early morning ones, but lately, because when I first started my other page, I was doing these things at 6 a.m., like every morning. I haven't done an early morning one lately, but I'm kind of liking this morning time, to be honest, because I haven't started work yet. Once I've started work, my mood is different, my energy is different. So much stuff goes on in the course of my workday that I don't feel this good when I'm doing my recaps. So I might start to do morning recaps again. We'll see. And it's possible that I might jump back on here in the evening once we have the HOH selections. Once we have the selections for the 3 selections for who's going to go on the block, it seems like we already know, but once they're officially selected and once we see some feed campaigning and all that stuff, and it'll be interesting. So thanks everybody for joining me. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when I drop some more great content. Thanks everybody for watching.